Fear. That's the one thing that controls us all. The one thing that stops us from doing what we may really want to do. Hey guys, it's your favorite Super Saiyan slash Demigod back here with another video. This one's going to be a bit different. I think a while ago, I made it clear that I was going to try to bring motivational speaking to this channel. So that's what we're going to do. This hit me out of nowhere, so I'm just going to run with it. And yeah. So a thought came to me, and it was, what is something that stops quite literally every single person, maybe even every creature, from doing something new? Or just from doing something that they may really want to do. Maybe they've done it before. Maybe they had friends who did it before. Maybe they had both. But for some reason, there's just that one thing that stops them in that moment from going on, trying something new, doing something over, and improving on it. Or both. You know what that one thing is? Fear. Fear of failing. Fear of not getting it right the first time, or the second time, or the third time, etc. Fear. That's the one thing that stops us all. Whether you have a disability, whether, I don't know, maybe you're an animal in the world going out for the first time. Maybe you're a bird who just, is now ready to see the new world, to try new things, to fly for the first time, but you're scared. Maybe you finally can know how to drive. Maybe you're getting your driver's license, but you're scared to drive. Fear holds us all back. That's the one thing that we shouldn't let it do. Don't give in to fear. It's okay to be afraid. That's normal. But never give in to it. Once you give into it, in a way, you can say your life doesn't become yours anymore. Now you may be asking, how's that so? Well, it's simple. I'm going to tell you guys a bit of a story. We're about to get personal, so hope you guys stay around for this. If you don't want to, that's fine. But if you don't, you can easily fast forward to the end, or just fast forward. I don't want to say how long because I'm not sure just yet. But if you want to fast forward past this, you can. If you don't, then cool. Story time. Throughout my life, I've gone through many challenges, whether it's because of my disability or because of other things. I've had many upon many surgeries from the moment I was 2 up until right now. And I'm about to be 20 in a few months. So if that tells you anything, then yeah. And trust me, a lot of them were major. To name 2 off of the top of my head that I can actually remember. Mid-face, which was a surgery that I had twice. And that surgery was supposed to basically make my face, I guess, in a way, look better, if that makes any sense. So, for those of you who can't see me, especially because of the way I have the camera, it's either pointing toward the bed or toward the ceiling. So I'm not sure if you guys can see me at all. If that's the case, I am very sorry. But regardless, with the mid-face, what it was supposed to do was, like I said, make my face, in a way, look better, or just be better. So I was born with something called Crouzon syndrome. What that is a syndrome that affects development in one's face, or just development of bones, but it's mainly in the face. So for instance, my nose, I cannot smell anything. I can breathe through my nose, not that well because my airways are very narrow, but I can't smell at all. My eyes are a bit further apart than they should be. When it comes to how I like my overbite, I think it is. Yeah, I have braces to fix that because the Crouzons also affects that. It also affects the way my chin looks and just how my face looks overall. So what the mid-face was supposed to do was align the bones in my face correctly. That way, it would be a bit better. Maybe it would also fix the whole teeth problem. I had to have that twice. Now I have braces. Another one was a volt expansion. Now, I don't know how to explain this one entirely. I want to say that was for my head to kind of help the bones in there a tiny bit. I could be getting that information wrong though. And then I had a lot of shunt replacements. And for those of you who don't know what a shunt is, it's a tool, or not a tool. I don't want to call it that, but it's this thing that goes in your head. I want to say it's like a cord almost. I've never actually like felt it personally, when it wasn't in my head, so I don't really know how to fully explain it. But it's like a tube, basically. Yeah. Okay. So it's a tube that goes in your head. It can, I think, go in other places too, like your eye. Like I think I have a friend who actually has a shunt in their eye. But regardless, mine, which I believe if I'm saying it right, is called a VP shunt. It goes in my head, and what it does is it drains all of the fluid or the excess over amount of fluid from my head and into my stomach. Because that right there is exactly how I became visually impaired in the first place. There was a lot of fluid buildup in my head, and we had no idea about it. This happened again around 2 years old, because that's pretty much when everything else happened. I became visually impaired at 2, got the shunt put in at 2, the rest is history. But like I said, we had a problem where I had an over buildup of fluid in my head. It was supposed to cause a lot of pain too, but we had no idea about that because that's when we found out my pain tolerance is extremely high. Like extremely high. I should not have been able to be walking around the way I was, laughing the way I was as a baby. I was completely fine. So we had no idea. When my mom got the call, she was like, he's fine. What are you talking about? They brought me in, and when I went into surgery, it was too late to fix it. The fluid buildup had already damaged my optic nerves, and due to that, I became visually impaired. So now I can only see shadows. I can differentiate some colors, but not that well. And I have light perception. So for instance, if the light is on or off, I can tell that. If there's no light in the place at all, I can tell that. If it's way too bright, I can tell that. My eyes actually end up hurting from that. And considering I'm usually always in my dark room, yeah, that's not really a great thing, but whatevs. So yeah, I can't smell, visually impaired due to the me not having the shunt yet, which is actually supposed to, control that from happening again. And it has. But here's the thing. I have to get it replaced every now and then because as I grow, the shunt doesn't obviously grow with me. So because of that, I need to keep on getting it replaced. I can't tell you how many I've actually had because I don't remember right now. But regardless, I've had many of those. I've had tubes replaced in my ears. That way, I think that's also supposed to do the same thing, like act as a drainage for any fluid that goes in there. And trust me, I've had many ear infections because of that, because one of them fell out and we never put it back in because we were told that the hole that's now in my eardrum is acting as a tube. So yeah, I've had many, many different types of surgeries over the years. But I'm still here. I'm afraid all the time that something's going to happen. Whenever I hear the word surgery, trust me, now after everything, that scares me. It really scares me because for anyone who hasn't been in that type of pain after the surgery or just gone through surgery, trust me, it's not easy. It's really not. It's scary. And like I said, this is coming from someone who's had over 20, maybe 50 surgeries, and I would not be lying to you when I said that. That's not an over-exaggeration either. So I can promise you, I've been afraid when it comes to that. When it comes to trying new things because of my disability. Great example, crossing the street. That terrifies me. Now, granted, where I'm at now, it's a bit better because we don't really have streets out here, but the people who are driving actually move over whenever they see you, so it's a bit, easier over here. But back when I was in the city, ooh, for anyone who's in the city, you know this for a fact. This is just a fact. I'm not throwing shots. This is just a literal fact. People do not care, especially in Manhattan. People don't care. They will drive, whether you're there or not. They will honk, and if you don't move, well then too bad. They will scream at you. They do not care. There is no such thing as manners or respect. So for someone like me who can't see, trust me, that's not easy. My father, you guys have seen him in some videos before, but my father helped me when it came to crossing the street and all that stuff and learning how to do that properly. And then I ended up crossing a really big street one time. Back at home, I think it was Rhinelander, if I'm saying that right. Now that street, from what I remember, it is light controlled, but it's a really big street. And from what I remember, traffic can go both ways. So I didn't do this, by myself at first. At first, like I said, my dad helped me, and then it came time for me to do it by myself. I didn't know until I came home that my dad was following me the whole way. And when it came to the street, he thought I was going to freeze up. Honestly, I don't know how I didn't. I really don't. Because I was terrified. But I just kept telling myself, listen, you've done this before. You can do this. You've got this. You know what you're doing. And I made it across safely. And I came home safely. All by myself. One of the biggest milestones in my life. If I can do that and I'm visually impaired, hearing impaired, all that other stuff, so can you. Being afraid is normal. It's normal for every single one of us. If you're not afraid every once in a while, trust me, you're clearly not challenging yourself. Challenging yourself is a part of life. Great example again. I started college, I want to say a week ago. I was terrified before, and I still am. But went there, met some cool people. Granted, I'm doing this on Zoom right now, but regardless, still met all the people who are in my class, including my teacher. And I'm not so afraid anymore. From what I was told, that's what made me afraid. From all the stuff I was told about college and all that other stuff. And I guess me just, not really wanting to, after everything that happened in high school, I wanted to just take a break. I didn't want to do anything. So I didn't for a while. When I started, like I said, I was terrified. But now, I know I can do it. It was a challenge, and I overcame it. If I can overcome the challenge, you guys can too. Fear is normal. Fear is okay. If anyone tells you that you being afraid, there's something wrong with you, don't listen to them. Because I can tell you right now, the same people who are telling you you have something wrong with you because you're afraid, were afraid once themselves. Fear is an emotion. Everyone has emotions, whether they like to say they don't do or don't, whether they say they don't, they still do. Whether they say they do but don't like to show it, it's still there. Every single living thing on this earth has an emotion. Because every single living thing has to live. And every single living thing lives with their emotions. Great example. Animals have emotions. Animals can feel fear. Animals can feel angry. Animals can feel happy. Plants, pretty sure even plants can feel fear, can feel happy. I don't know about fear, but they can definitely feel happy or sad. Because I could tell you right now, if you don't water a plant and they start drooping, they're most likely sad or scared or depressed because they're not getting what they need. Every single living thing expresses it differently, but every single living thing has emotions. And fear is definitely one of them. Never let your fear control you. You control your fear. When you start realizing that, trust me, things will get a lot easier. Take it from someone who's still, at times, trying to learn that himself. If you let your fear control you, it starts controlling your life. It starts dictating your life, and you will no longer have any control over it. Don't ever let that happen. The fear doesn't control you. You control the fear. If you control it, then you can say, I'm scared. I know I'm scared. How do I overcome it? Now, after you ask that question and you think of a solution, you can then say, I'm still scared. And that's okay. Why is that okay? Because I know that I can get through this and overcome it. And I will overcome it. It's not about how, it is about how technically, but it's also about you will. Not about when, more about will. Even if it takes forever, you'll still overcome it. Everyone overcomes things at their own time. And that's okay. be yourself, control your fear, and overcome challenges. And I can promise you, once you do that, you're going to have an awesome life. If you guys like this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next. And until then, I will see you guys in another video. Love you guys. And until then, this is your favorite Super Saiyan / Demigod signing off. Love you guys, and peace out.